Hello, and welcome to this episode of Lead with Love, how to win your inner war with peace and show up as the loving woman that you are, meaning mother, wife, and or leader. So today we have with us a very, very special guest. It is Kimberly Spencer. Now, she's a performance coach, motivational speaker, and author, and she's the founder of crownyourself.com. And she's really perfect for the show because it's not just about your love relationship, it's about your relationship with love, and that actually dictates the success that you have in business. It sounds weird, but your professional growth will never supersede your personal. So that's where we always hit a limit. So welcome to the show, Kimberly. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me on. I am so excited to be here. Yes, like I was so giddy to get started. I interrupted the last interview.
That's great. I love it. You're a motivational teacher as well, so you get to be fired up, and we get to be fired up from having you here. So I didn't do your introduction justice. Please tell the audience a bit more about what you do, and do get into also the story of how you started in entrepreneurship at the age of 5. But first,
Absolutely.
Tell the audience more about your work and what you do for women.
So I'm a high performance coach and success strategist, and I work specifically with female entrepreneurs. So I've worked with a few men, and in order for them to achieve holistic success, because I believe that when your body and your relationships and your business are all in alignment, that is like the greatest trifecta of fulfillment versus than just like traditional success and monetary success. So what I do is I have a combination of different processes that I put my clients through using timeline therapy, neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, and then certified high performance coaching curriculum to take them to that next level in their life and their business. And it really is transformative. And it really is the perfect thing that I got started at, that I became a high performance coach, because when I first started out in, the entrepreneurial world, I was 5 years old, and I not only was split testing price points with selling bags of glitter water for either 5 cents or $50. I was putting on, I know, I let the market determine the price. I was like, let's see which one works. But I also was putting on neighborhood productions and performances that I wrote and direct and scripted, and of course was the star in. So of course it led me into creating my own business that I could be the star in of my own, the star of my own show in essence.
So Kimberly, what's your number one advice to the really motivated and ambitious woman out there watching today who is experiencing triggers and hitting this limit? Because you went a little fast in the introduction when you said, for example, timeline hypnosis. And to the woman out there watching who might not be aware how we have to travel back in time and break through limits, could you maybe elaborate on that for her?
Of course. So your unconscious mind, or some people call it your subconscious mind, is basically dictates 95 to 97% of what you do in your life. So only about 3 to 5% of what you're doing, you're consciously aware of. So for example, I used to self-sabotage by choosing really, really poor choices in partners when I was in my early 20s. And it was a form of self-sabotage that led to, that was because of a deeper structure of something that, a belief, a limiting belief that I had created when I was younger, that I was not good enough or smart enough. So I intentionally had a few boyfriends that were not super smart, and like we weren't really having really good intellectual conversations. There was really no personal growth involved with the depth of the relationship. It stayed very surface, and I would throw my whole self into these very surface relationships where it caused me to have these it caused the relationships to kind of explode, because you can't really have, when you really want to have a loving, deep, nurturing teammate, then it can't just stay on the surface.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kimberly. I'm just dying to know, what created your limiting belief, and what did it come from, and how did you break out of it?
So my limiting belief, I call it like the deeper structure. The deeper structure is like all the unconscious mind. It's kind of, if you think of an iceberg, and iceberg has the little bit that you see above the surface, but the mass of the iceberg is underneath the iceberg. So what I do with timeline therapy and with hypnosis is we flip that iceberg over so we see all the stuff that's been hiding underneath the water. And so for me, my story is, for 10 years, I was a bulimic. And I had an eating disorder, and I was able to successfully recover without any psychological or medical intervention. I recovered from the form of bulimia, the surface structure of what was above the surface. And I did dive into some of the deeper structure, but I didn't get that last bit of the iceberg of self-worth, of believing like I was enough. And so once I had recovered from bulimia, because that part of the iceberg hadn't been unearthed and melted back into the ocean, it shifted forms into the form of my relationships. So it came from the belief that it shifted forms into the people that I was choosing to date and be in relationships with because of a fear-based mindset. And I'm sure my fear-based mindset came from growing up in an addict home for majority of my life. And shifting that mindset was key for me. And that was transformational. How I did that was I just one day decide, like the big transition that happened with that was I ran off when I was 22 or 23. I ran off and got married, and I didn't tell anybody. And looking back, I know in hindsight that it was from a total fear-based place, that I could never find anybody to meet all the parameters that I had, all the desires that I had wanted for a really fulfilling relationship that I had set out. And I had about 50 things that I wrote down. When I was about 15 years old, I had a very powerful insight as to what I specifically wanted in a life partner. And after being in a few bad relationships, I found this man who fulfilled a few of them, but it really wasn't it didn't have that depth of what I wanted in a relationship. But because I was still of that lacking of self-worth, because I felt like maybe this is just good enough. Maybe I'll settle for like what's good enough. And I knew that he would always provide for me. I knew that he would always have an income. I knew that he would never cheat on me, and I knew that he would be faithful. But that was it. Like, that was like the parameters for what I wanted, like my life partnership to be. And I'll never forget when I was on a phone call 6 months into my marriage, because what happened was we eloped, and then he deployed and went off, and he was on the other side of the world. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, so we're in this relationship and we're married, and I can't get along with you when you're on the other side of the planet. Like, this is probably not that good of a choice, right? And when I was on the phone with him, I will never forget where I was standing in this conversation. I was in my bedroom in my apartment in Los Angeles, and I was on the phone, and I was saying, I really miss like putting on productions. Like, I would love to do like some live events and some things. It was before I had really merged into coaching. Back then I had my own Pilates business, and I was a successful screenwriter in Hollywood. And he was like, wait, what? You want to be a wife and a mom and a writer and an entrepreneur, and you want to like put on live events, and you want to like, what? How are you going to do it all? And I was like, dude, have you met me? And it was in that moment where I realized that fear-based mindset that I had settled for, of marrying somebody out of fear, that I might never find somebody to meet all those qualifications, all those ideas, all those dreams that I had for a relationship, that was a poor choice. And so obviously we ended up splitting. And then literally almost a year and a half later, I met my husband now, my forever husband, who you'll be able to see on this on this summit as well.
Wonderful. You're wonderful together. You can really see that It's meant to be. So for the woman out there watching, I really want to give her some tools or just some hope and inspiration in the right direction. What can you tell her if she's super motivated and top driven, just like you and me, and she still falls into triggers and limitations? Let's say she's done all the self-help work. She even knows her limiting beliefs. She knows what they are, unworthiness. She knows where they come from. She knows the place and time when before puberty that it got into her head and into her mind and body. How can she break out of it? What's the number one way to get through those limitations? Just be more successful.
Well, I loved what you said, Amanda, because the big problem is that she thinks that she's done with the self-help work.
She's done it, at least. She's done
it, but if she thinks that, oh, that's some powerful thunder outside if you hear it. She thinks that she's done with the self-help work, and she's done all, like, if she's done
I don't think she thinks she's done with it, but she has done it. So she's doing she's still doing it. Like she's doing her tapping and she's doing her, like she's in it and she's doing it, but she hasn't broken through.
Allowing for the release. It truly comes down to a point of surrender. And I will tell you how I manifested my forever husband. I was at a point where I was after my divorce, and then I went into another relationship, a very intelligent, successful man, and it just wasn't completely fulfilling me. And I literally just released, and I remember praying this prayer on the way to this networking event. And I was like, you know what, God, all I want is a relation. I didn't even say relationship. I said, all I want is to be authentic. All I want is to be 100% unapologetically me. Because my problem in the past was when you have that deeper structure of you don't feel like you're enough or you don't feel worthy, you're hiding some part of yourself. Maybe it's your weird quirks, or maybe it's your ambition. Maybe it's your passion and your fervor for your life's mission. But whatever it is, you're allowing some part of yourself to be diminished because of fear that you're going to lose this relationship.
Or just fear in general.
Just fear. And as you know, fear is a liar. And so when I prayed that prayer, I said, I just want to be 100% authentic. I didn't want it to come in the form of a relationship. I really had thought I was going to be single, like, for a while. And I said, I want to be authentic and I want to travel. And that's all, like, that's what I want. And 2 hours later, I met my husband. And in the time that we have been together, I have traveled more and I have been 100% more myself. And I know that when I met him at this networking event, that was a pivotal point. I remember making a conscious decision. He had asked me some questions. I think it was about 80s music, and I'm not that big of a fan of 80s music. And he had asked me a question, and I came out with just the brutal honesty. And at that time I was also hiding, and I had a lot of shame around the fact that I had previously been married. But in this meeting with him, I was like, I'm going to come out with the facts. Like, I don't know this guy. Like, I'm just going to tell him, like, yes, I've been married before.
And I don't know 80s music.
And I don't like 80s music. And he loved my honesty. And I'll let him tell his part of the story, of his own journey. But that authenticity that is the true you. And I would say to the woman who is ambitious, she's done the self-help work, she's dived in, and she's really gotten into the nitty-gritty of all the limiting beliefs. She knows that they're there. And there will always be deeper ones that you got to unearth every time you're up leveling to the next level. But to that woman, I would say, look at what you wanted when you were a child. Like, look at your childhood dream. It's one of the exercises I put my clients through of, seeing where they are now. Is that, like, if you look at what you wanted to be as a child, if you looked at what you wanted to do, are you fully embracing that? And are you fully also embracing that level of play and fun and release and surrender of the outcome? Because that is the massive shift. Because when you're a child, before you get society, your friends, or anybody putting all these expectations or rules on how you should behave, you are liberated to, like, be silly or dance around in a tutu. Or, like, for me, I was directing all the neighborhood children in plays while me meanwhile, like, we were selling bags of glitter water out on the street. Like, I had all this whole venture going on when I was a kid. Now, in my past businesses, I looked at that and I saw where I was out of alignment, where it wasn't 100% fulfilling. It was like 80% there or 90% there, but it really wasn't that whole package of what I wanted as a child. And so when I look back on that, it's Crown Yourself just evolved from that desire as a child to write and direct and star in my own show, in essence, and be that full, authentic, sparkly version of me before I had people telling me I should dull down my sparkle. And that was what immediately attracted my husband to me. Was I was just like, I'm not going to dull my sparkle at this networking event. I'm going to smile. I'm going to say hi to people. I'm going to be my effervescent Elle Woodsy self that my middle school friends used to call me. And I'm just going to be that person that I always was before I allowed other people's rules of how I should behave to be put on to me.
I think that you bring up a very, very beautiful and very exact point. So be yourself, keep your eye on the goal, but still surrender. And it's not the same as giving up. So I love that you said that. You really do allow things to come in your life, and you allow yourself to break through your limitations when you surrender and stop trying to fix things. So
Amen.
Really beautiful point.
Well, and that's the other big thing that I would tell to any ambitious woman. You are not broken. Your cup is 100% full. So you have this full cup of all the gloriousness that is you. And let's say there's some limiting beliefs in there. So that water may not be crystal clear. It might be a little murky. But as you turn on that faucet to really allow for more to come in, more goodness, more improvement, more development, more growth to flow in, that murky water is just going to kind of pour out. But you're always 100% full and 100% whole as you are right now.
Yeah. Very good point, Kimberly. Don't try to fix things. Nothing is really broken, but we still want to break through our own limitations, and it's just ourselves getting in the way. And one way to step back is to surrender and just let go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful point. So, Kimberly, I'm dying to know, how can the audience and how can the woman out there watching who's just as inspired by this as me, because you really hit a good point, how can she go deeper with you and work with you? Do you have something for the audience?
Absolutely. I have my love hypnosis, my deep love hypnosis, because here's the amazing thing about your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind has what your mind, your brain in essence has what's called mirror neurons. So you're going to see what you're actually reflecting inside of yourself. So the more you learn how to love yourself and reprogram that self-love, and so that you know that you are 100% worthy of receiving love, you are 100% enough as you are right now, whole and beautiful, that is the massive shift that will automatically attract so much more love your way. Maybe it's in the form of a romantic relationship, or maybe it's in the form of having some truly deep, powerful growth friends who just love and adore you as you are. But that is what I want to give to you, is a powerful hypnosis to reprogram any limiting beliefs that could be stuck in there about your ability to receive love, your worthiness of receiving love, and the fact that you are 100% enough.
Amazing. I can't wait to try it. And we have a Facebook group that you all are in. To the woman out there watching, you can share in the Facebook group your takeaways from this hypnosis and any questions you have. And Kimberly might even be in the group too. We have a lot of experts in there from the previous show, all ready to help you when you try out these free gifts and you do this work. And just, there's no reason not to. Just go ahead and do it. We're all here to support you and help you. And I'm going to try it too, because I'm just as you, the same as you out there watching. I'm probably the same place you are, trying to break through my limiting beliefs that I know I have from childhood. So I'm going to dive in and try the hypnosis. Thank you.
And we all are. It's all a beautiful process of just being able to experience how good can you really stand it? Like, how much love can you really exude and experience in this life? Because you've got one that we know of. So let's make this one unbelievable. And for the hypnosis, I would highly, highly recommend you listen to it and just allow yourself to relax into it before you go to sleep. Mm-hmm. Because when you go to sleep, that's when your subconscious mind can go to work on really allowing yourself to dream out any limiting beliefs and illuminate those things that then can get shifted into something that's more empowering, that something is a stronger belief that will serve you as you up level to your next life. And yes, please, please, please tag me in the Facebook group. Let me know if you have any questions. I am here to serve you as you embrace more love and life and light into your world.
And you can't do this alone. There's a beauty in opening up and sharing. You're going to shift and level up so fast because we're all here to help, because we all know that we grow when we help. And that is the true way to making love, not war, and to leading with love, is to help others. So just come out and join us, and don't be shy. Share your experiences in the Facebook group of this hypnosis. I cannot wait to try it. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I truly, truly appreciate you bringing me on. I am so grateful for this opportunity, and I really look forward to serving this community as we bring more love into this world that it so desperately needs. So let's be that light. Let's be that love, and really step into a truth that there is only love. Fear is just an illusion.
Well said. Thank you so much, guys. See you at the next episode. Bye-bye.